Hey everyone, my name is Tori and today's video is going to be my updated summer essentials video. So I actually did one of these, I guess it was a year ago. It wasn't 2 years ago, a year ago. And I had a request to do an updated one. So I thought that'd be a great idea because it's, you know, summer. I am aware that I do not look very summertime appropriate, but this is me. This is who I am. So I would prefer to wear like dark colors all year, and that's kind of what I do. If it comes in black, like that's the color that I want to wear. So I'm going to start with our basic just sun care. What you think of during the summer, I would think is just sunscreen. It is so important to protect your skin. I mean, not just during the summer, but year round. And it's so important to wear sunscreen year round and not just during the summer when you're going to be out in the sun. So my all-time favorite sunscreen that I have found so far is the Banana Boat Sport Performance Cool Zone SPF 30. They also make this in like a 50, I think, and probably 100 plus. I don't know. I'm usually the person that buys like 100 plus sunscreen, but the 30 works just fine for me. I love this sunscreen because, first of all, it's a spray and it just clicks to open and it locks, so you don't have to worry about messing with the cap. It sprays on very evenly. It's a very fine mist and it doesn't leave a residue on your skin. Of all the sunscreens that I've ever used in my life, this is the one that I always come back to because I feel like it's the most comfortable to wear. If you struggle with finding a sunscreen that's not greasy or oily or feels weird or smells funky, this is the one for you. Staying on the sunscreen trend, my all-time favorite, well, current favorite at least, facial sunscreen is by the brand Farmacy. This is the Green Screen Daily Environmental Protector. This is an SPF of 30. I actually purchased this from Sephora. It's a whole line of skincare. I love this sunscreen so much. I want to try other products from this brand. I love it because I feel like it doesn't feel gross on my face. It doesn't feel like I'm wearing sunscreen, and I'm super weird about like textures and things on my skin. If I feel like it's oily or it's just uncomfortable, I won't wear it. I just won't. And this is a sunscreen that I found that just doesn't bother me. It works well under makeup and you can wear it alone and it doesn't make your face look greasy or oily. And I also like weirdly love the way it smells. It reminds me of oatmeal. You ever taken like an oatmeal bath? You know what I mean? I don't know if that's a good thing, but I really like the smell of it. The only bummer is that I don't know if I'll repurchase this because it's so expensive. I might try to find something that's more affordable for me to be purchasing continually, but who knows? I might go ahead and just buy this again because I love it so much. During the summer, I also try to self-tan, and of course, as I'm filming this, I'm not self-tanned at all. This is my natural skin color. I'm very fair, and so I like to have a little bit of a summer glow during the summer months if I'm wearing like shorts and dresses and things like that, or like tank tops that show my arms. So I have these two self-tanning products. These are the ones that I currently use. I don't keep multiple tanning products. I usually try to use one up and then go on to the next because I find that if you keep them for too long, then they get kind of gross and weird. So I'll start with the one that I use on my face, and I don't always use this, but if I am going somewhere where I'm not going to be wearing makeup, then I will use this product to tan my face so it matches my body. This is the Isle of Paradise Self-Tanning Drops. This is actually for face and body, but I use it on my face. I think that you could probably mix it in with your lotion to use on your body. I don't know how much you would need though for your entire body. I mix a few drops of this into my moisturizer at night. I rub it all over my face, and then in the morning my face is like nice and tan, and it's not tan to where it looks like, oh, like what happened, you know. It looks natural. It has a very nice undertone. So I love this stuff, especially if I don't want to wear makeup, because I feel like this gives me the nice sun-kissed glow, natural looking one on my face, to where I don't have to wear any makeup, or I can do a little bit of concealer and it'll match the rest of my like self-tanned body. So I love to use this, especially on vacation or if I'm going to be by the pool, beach, something like that. Love this. My favorite self-tanner is by the brand Tropez. This is the Self-Tan Express Bronzing Mousse. So this is the one that you can leave on for 1, 2, or 3 hours and then wash it off. Again, like I said, I'm weird about things on my skin, like textures, and like I don't like sleeping in self-tanner. And this Isle of Paradise, I have the spray. I have like the tanning water spray. I just, oh, I can't. I just can't. I can't leave it on overnight. Like anything I have to leave on my body overnight and sleep in, I just, oh, it makes me feel icky. That's why I like this self-tanner, because you put it on, it's a mousse, right? So it comes with the little pump, and you just pump it onto your little self-tanning mitt, rub it all over your body, and you're good to go, and you can wash it off in like 3 hours, and you have the same results as if you'd slept in the tan overnight. The mousse is actually kind of tinted a green color, which looks kind of weird. It's because that undertone is what you want for like an olive tone tan. This self-tan smell isn't bad. I really don't find that I notice it that much the next day. So I've actually done this to where I've applied this like twice in a day, or I've applied it one day and then the next day because I wanted to be like really tan for my trip. It layered really nicely, so I love this. To maintain my tan, I love Jergens Natural Glow, and I used this in middle school. This has been around a long time. This is just their daily moisturizer. It's a gradual sunless tanner. And I got the one for medium to tan skin tones because I use this when I have a self-tan applied. When you have a self-tanner on, you want to make sure that you're constantly moisturizing because that's what keeps your self-tanner from fading as quickly. And I use the Jergens Natural Glow, especially on my legs, and I find that it keeps the tan looking fresher longer. It does have a little bit of a strange scent to it. It can get very thick, so I would recommend not using too much and make sure that you're not over applying on those drier areas like your hands, feet, knees, elbows, that sort of thing. So moving on to some makeup items. Year round I try to use something like a face product, a primer, a moisturizer, just regular sunscreen, or like a foundation that has sunscreen in it. I love foundation that has sunscreen in it, so I'll be talking about a few of them here. So I have this one by IT Cosmetics. This is the Your Skin But Better CC cream. I have it in the matte version and in the original version. And I love these because the matte has SPF 40 and the original has SPF 50. And I go back and forth between the two of these. If I use a mattifying primer with the original, perfectly fine on my face. It gives a little more of a natural finish for me if I use a mattifying primer, and then I use mattifying powder. And then the matte version of it, sometimes it can be drying. So if I don't use like a nice hydrating primer with it, it can be a little bit drying for my skin. Again, I'm combo oily, so it just gets really complicated because if I try to cater to one part of my face, like the other part of my face doesn't work. So anyway, I just mix and match these. I've mixed them before, it's been fine. I'm in the shade Fair, so this is the lightest shade that it comes in. I really enjoy this foundation. I feel like it's very long wearing and I love the SPF in it, and it's very lightweight, which is what I like. I do think that the original is a little more lightweight than the matte though, but these are really great foundations. This next foundation also has SPF in it, but this is fairly new to me still. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation, and I have it in 2 shades. And what I like about this is that this is a drugstore foundation that I really enjoy, and since it's more affordable for me, it is like $15 though, so like I think it's still expensive, but it's not like $40. So I feel like I can buy 2 shades, like my summer shade and my regular shade, and I can mix and match at like the various stages of self-tan throughout the summer. The lightest shade that I have that is my daily wear shade is 400 Pearl, and I have 455 Natural Buff. So I just mix and match these. At my very, very tannest, I can wear this 455 Natural Buff, and then as it fades, I'll just combine it with the Pearl, and I get the perfect shade match every time. So that's really great, and I love that it's affordable, so I can just, if I run out of one, I'll just get another one, and it's not as big of a deal if I were to like try to mix and match like these. These are expensive. I think these are like $40, so I wouldn't be going out and buying multiple shades of these, you know what I mean? I love that this has SPF 25. It's very lightweight. It looks natural. It looks like natural on your face. I'm still trying to decide what my favorite combination is with these foundations and the primer, so to kind of get my perfect combo oily skin situation. And a summer essential for me is having a lighter shade and a darker shade that I can mix and match. I've also done the same thing with concealer, and normally every day, just my regular skin color, I have the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Swan, but I needed a concealer that would match my self-tan at various stages. And again, I didn't want to buy something that was super expensive. You know, I love that concealer, I love Tarte Shape Tape, but I'm not going to go out and buy several shades of those types of concealers because they're expensive. These concealers are great, and really they work just as well. This is the Makeup Revolution concealer, and this is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. I enjoy both of these concealers. I've mixed and matched them with different foundations and different powders and primers, and they've always just worked really well for me. The L'Oreal one is a little bit newer to my collection, but it's becoming a very quick favorite. This L'Oreal one is in the shade Cashmere, and then the Makeup Revolution one is in the shade C8. So I just mix and match these with my current, my regular concealer the same way I do with the foundations, and I'm able to get my perfect shade. I love that I can mix and match these and not worry about having to spend a small fortune having several shades of something. These are really great. I would recommend these just as much as I would a Tarte Shape Tape. So jury is still out which one I like better, because I really can't decide between these two, Tarte Shape Tape and Born This Way. They're all great. Having darker concealers is a summer must-have for me every year to mix and match with. Next up, I have some powders, and these are not new. You've seen these before. I have the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte 16-Hour Wear Powder, and I have the It Cosmetics CC Airbrush Perfecting Powder with SPF 50. So I love these two powders for different reasons. The L'Oreal Infallible powder is the powder that I use all the time. I have this in my regular shade, which is the lightest one. I believe it's 100 Porcelain. And I have it in another shade that's like a few shades darker, and I use that on top of my darker foundation. Again, same thing. I like having a drugstore option that I can mix and match shades and I can afford it, you know. This powder is more expensive. I feel like it was $40 maybe. I wore this one time as a foundation. It was a disaster. So this works as just a finishing powder or a setting powder for me. I will put on my foundation and then I'll set it with this powder. Usually I need to wear a mattifying foundation to use this powder because it is a little more of a, I don't want to say dewy, but it's not a mattifying powder. And this Infallible Pro Matte powder is definitely more mattifying. So love these for different reasons, but during the summer I love that this has SPF 50, and I love that this is matte, so I can mix and match with whatever I'm going for that day. So let's talk lips. So my favorite lip balm of all time is by the brand Fresh, and this is just one of them. I have a few kind of floating around my house in my purses and all of that. This is the Sugar Rosé. I thought it was just Rose. Sugar Rosé. This is their tinted lip treatment with sunscreen SPF 15. This one has like kind of a rosy, reddish pink tint to it. You really can't see the color like that much when you put it on your lips. It is very much like a sheer tint. It just smells so good. It smells like a sweet sugar lemon, and it has the SPF in it. So I take these when I go to Disney World, when I want a little bit, I want my lips to look nice, but I want the SPF, and the hydration in this is just so good. It feels great on your lips. It doesn't taste weird like sunscreen. I love these. I love the whole line. They have so many different colors. It's really heavy. It feels very, it feels very high-end because it is, honestly. This is expensive for a lip balm, but I also enjoy something else that's kind of newer to me. This is the Sunbum Mango SPF 30. This is their lip balm. And I actually bought this when I was waiting in line at Ulta at the checkout, right? Where they have all those like little try me things, those travel size. They get me every time. This smells so good. It smells like mangoes. It's so soft on your lips. Like, it feels like butter. It's so soft. It's very hydrating. The only thing I don't like about it is that it tastes like sunscreen. It tastes like mango sunscreen. So like it tastes like SPF. And I don't know if that's because the SPF in this is higher. So this is probably better for your lips as SPF 30 than the SPF 15. But I do really enjoy the fragrance. They had a couple different fragrances, but this is the one that I've tried. So this is something I would take to, like, if I was going to the pool, the beach, something like that, and I really needed the extra SPF. This is what I would use. All right, last few items here. So next up I have some blushes. And my favorite blush to wear in the summer, besides for like a coral, like a corally peachy pink, is just like a peachy bronze. I have two different ones to show you here, and they're very similar. The first one is by Becca. This is their mineral blush in the shade Wild Honey. It almost looks like a bronzer. It really probably could be a bronzer, but it has a little bit of that orangey peach, almost reddish undertone to where it still pulls a blush. And then my other one that I really like is by Burt's Bees, and this is in the shade Toasted Cinnamon. And this shade also looks like a bronzer, but it has a little bit more orange. So I would say the Toasted Cinnamon is a little warmer than the Wild Honey, but these two are just like gorgeous for a self-tan. So if I'm not wearing a coral blush, I'm probably wearing one of these. My favorite one that I always come back to is the Becca one, just because I've had it longer, I think, but Burt's Bees one is beautiful as well. Has a slight sheen to it. When you look at it, it looks like the Becca one might have a sheen, but on the cheeks it looks a little more matte. I'm going to swatch them next to each other so you can see. So swatch on the skin, you can see the Burt's Bees one here on the bottom has a little more orange and more of a sheen. Wild Honey is right here on the top and it looks a little more matte, but side by side the colors are almost identical. Really, I mean, I think it's just your preference and finish at this point. I love both of these colors. They're gorgeous on the skin. My next thing here is highlight, and I have one from Becca and one from Wet n Wild. So from Becca, so this is actually my second one of these. I hit pan, expanded the pan on the first one, and then I dropped it and it broke. So this is my second one. So this is Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector pressed in the shade Champagne Pop. The infamous Champagne Pop. This is the shade that Jaclyn Hill collaborated with Becca to create. I love this shade. The only thing that's kind of a bummer about it is that it's it can be a little dark on me sometimes when I'm at my very fairest. I really have to kind of be careful to not layer it too heavily because it looks almost like too golden on my cheeks. But with my self-tan, and with these blushes, ooh, it looks so, so good. So there's Champagne Pop. So it's got that kind of peachy undertone, but it's still kind of vanilla, not too warm, not too cool. It's just, I absolutely love this highlighter and it's gorgeous on the face. This is a beautiful formula. However, the Wet n Wild, this is actually from the Fergie collection is when I bought it, but they re-released this highlighter, I think because it was so popular, and it's called Boozy Brunch now, I think. If it's even still available. Does anybody know if it's still available? This is in the shade Hollywood Boulevard, and when you first look at it, it doesn't look like it's going to, honestly, it doesn't really look like it's going to look good. And then I put it on, literally, like, it looks a little bit darker in the swatch, but on the face, sheared out, it looks almost identical to Champagne Pop. So this is the shade on the bottom. This is the Wet n Wild highlight. It's a little bit darker, a little more golden, a little warmer, and then Champagne Pop is on top of it. I mean, they're so similar. And when you shear these out, like, you can't even tell. If I had to choose between them, I usually reach for the Becca one because I like the formula a little bit better and I like the color a little bit more because it is just a little bit lighter. Because the Wet n Wild one is a little darker and warmer than the Champagne Pop, but they're both great. I use both of them. It's a beautiful highlight. They're both beautiful highlights. Now let's talk eyeshadow. So this is actually, I don't know if this is cheating because this is brand new to me. I used it today, the first time. So this is the ColourPop Sweet Talk palette, and I literally, like, I just got this. So in my last video, I did a ColourPop haul, and I hauled this eyeshadow palette, and I was looking forward to using it so much. I'm so excited. And I used it today for the first time, and I absolutely love it. Quality is just the same, just as good as the rest of their palettes. I use this shade here in the crease all over, and then I use this little shade right up here to kind of darken things up in the crease. And then I went in with this shade here, the Super Shock Shadow formula, just all over the lid in the inner corner, and I absolutely love it. Ooh, and I put this in the outer corner, this dark color. So I love it. The Super Shark Shadow formula in here is so crazy to me because it literally feels exactly the same as the ones that are in the pot. So I'm kind of nervous about it drying out, but I guess we'll see. Time will tell, right? So I absolutely love this palette, but my whole point is that I love wearing peach tone shadows during the summer. It's like my favorite thing to wear. I love peaches and corals and just like bronzy, gold, delicious, those types of shadows. So this is like the perfect spring summer palette, and every year I always bust this thing back out. This is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, and I remember when this came out, this was like, I feel like this kind of started the whole peach thing. Peaches just like became a thing like when they released this, and I really feel like they set a trend with this color story, and I feel like we started seeing more and more palettes that looked like this one after this came out, and there was such a frenzy to get this palette. Honestly, like, I like this palette, but I don't think that it's like, but now with like the other stuff in my collection, I don't feel like it's, you know, super special anymore, you know? So, but I love the peachy tones. It's my favorite thing to wear in the summer. So I feel like the Too Faced one has more like of the darker shadows. It's almost a little more cool tone. And then the ColourPop palette is a little brighter, a little warmer. So you definitely get different looks with the two of them. So I think I'll be dipping into both of these palettes a lot over the summer. I have considered decluttering this a few times, but I'll always pull it out in the spring and summer and use it again. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I really do like this. All right, you guys, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.